It's never too early for a fantasy football draft, right? Yeah, an off-season video I wanted to do is a early fantasy football mock draft, given that the fantasy season is around 3 months out. And I'm just going to randomly pick a number 1 to 12, and that's going to be what pick we are going to get, and that is going to be pick number 4. And yeah, I just kind of want to talk about what I think some fantasy drafts can look like. I do plan on uploading more fantasy content here on this channel as we get closer to the fantasy season, and where some guys are going to be. Now, we know all the rookie picks. We know that Ashton Genty is in Las Vegas. We know that Amarian Hampton is in Los Angeles. So let's see what this draft is going to look like. I have no idea. Let me not blow your guys' eardrums out. So we got Justin Jefferson number 1, Saquon Barkley number 2, Bijan Robinson number 3, and then here I am at number 4. So Jamar Chase was the best fantasy receiver last year. I mean, that you really can't go wrong right there. Just got his new contract extension. You don't have to worry about that. It looks like that the next tier of guys here you pretty much have are all receivers. So Saquon, Bijan going that high. You have Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's Jahmyr Gibbs, Nico Collins. Wow, Nico Collins in the first round. At least that's where he's ranked here on Sleeper at the moment. Yeah, I think you really can't go wrong between CeeDee or Jamar Chase. I think like the Cowboys offense should be a lot better this year. They take Tyler Booker in the first round. They did trade for George Pickens, which now allows, I think, secondaries to now maybe you can't double CeeDee Lamb every single play. And obviously for Jamar Chase, he's got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and then also a great number 2 receiver to take some of the load off him. I mean, Puka's going to get his targets. Amon-Ra is in a high-powered offense. Jahmyr Gibbs, I took in the end of my first round last year. I really took at number 12 and the first pick in the second round, Saquon Barkley and Jahmyr Gibbs, and I lost in round number 1 because I think I drafted like, oh, it was bad. It was like George Pickens and Michael Pittman as my top receivers. So I'm just going to take Jamar Chase here. Was the best fantasy receiver last year. I don't think he can end up worse than like receiver number 5 this year if he stays healthy, because he is really one of the more talented receivers in the NFL. I'm honestly kind of shocked that Justin Jefferson is the 1.1 here, just because what's going on with JJ McCarthy, right? Like, yeah, he's going to be healthy this year, but is JJ McCarthy going to be as good as Sam Darnold was last year? And I don't really think it matters who the quarterback is in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson is still going to show out every year that he is the best or one of the best receivers in the NFL. I just feel like I'd rather take the comfortability of Joe Burrow in Cincy, Dak Prescott in Houston, even Amon-Ra St. Brown in the Detroit Lions offense, even though they don't have Ben Johnson anymore. But I think it would probably go Chase, and then I would debate Jefferson and Lamb. But obviously, I think like Bijan is due for a monster year 3. Saquon, I mean, it's just like every time the best running back like has its season, they don't live up to those expectations the year after. Like we've seen that in the past with Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey. And here I am up again with the 2.9 here. I could go both Bengals receivers. That would not be smart. I mean, this is where I can get Josh Allen. I don't think he would make it to the 3.4. It all depends on your league, right? Do guys like to take quarterbacks high? I honestly think in most leagues that we're going to see at least one quarterback gone by this point right here. Bucky Irving as an RB1. We live in a different world. I think Josh Jacobs is super safe. I mean, Christian McCaffrey for the value would be like amazing. You have questions probably about that San Francisco 49ers offensive line. I like Jonathan Taylor a ton as well. Yeah, I mean, you got 2 tight ends going. I don't know if I would really love taking Tyreek Hill with the 2.8. I think he can fall to the early 3rd rounds in some mocks. Derrick Henry at the 2.2 seems kind of low, but it's just like, do you think the year you finally draft Derrick Henry, he falls off with age? And that's what people have been debating with Travis Kelce for the last few years. And in 2024, that was pretty much the year. Honestly, I think I'm just going to go Josh Jacobs here. I think he's pretty safe here as an RB1, RB2, and a good offense. And he's just a good veteran here. I know he's got a lot of workload on him in his career, but he's still fairly young. So Mike Evans goes, Terry McLaurin goes, top receiver Davante Adams. I don't know how I feel about Davante Adams in Los Angeles. I think I want to stay away from him, at least in this range. Maybe the 4th round, you can convince me. Marvin Harrison was going in like the wraparound in the 1st round last year. You can get really good value for him here. A little bit of a drop-off for some receivers. And Josh Allen did go at the 2.1. Honestly, I think I'm going to hold off on a quarterback, and I expect a lot of the top guys to be off the board, including Lamar, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Hurts. A lot of those guys are going to be off the board. I'm just scared about the San Francisco 49ers offense and Christian McCaffrey having that major injury last year. So I'm just going to take Jonathan Taylor here at the 3.4, which I feel like is low, right? Like Jonathan Taylor is going to go a lot higher than that. I feel like in most mocks when we get to August and September, I feel like that's just an absolute steal. I just don't see the value in some of these receivers above Jonathan Taylor, especially for the positional need of a running back. Like, I'm taking Jonathan Taylor over T. Higgins. I'm taking him over Tyreek Hill. I'm probably taking him over Bucky Irving, to be honest with you. And I had Bucky Irving in my leagues last year. Wow, McCaffrey could have fell to me, at least in this mock. That's funny to look at. So Daniels, Hurts, and Lamar all off the board. I could get the stack of Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow. I think if Joe Burrow's there at the 5-4, I'll think about that. It's just like, will these two teams take a quarterback? Mahomes, man, like, you could get good value, but do you just trust Matt Nagy running that offense? I don't really trust him that much right now. Do you think there's going to be a bounce back here for Jalen Waddle if Tua can stay healthy? Devonta Smith in Philadelphia. Kind of staying away from Godwin, just them drafting Emeka Egbuka in the first round kind of scares me in that scenario. The top tight end on the board is George Kittle. Not terrible value right there. I think I would like to go receiver, and it's whatever the one from the 2021 draft class is. I already got one in Ja'Marr Chase. Let's grab another. Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith. I think I trust Jalen Waddle a little bit more, at least in the target share this year, because I'm a lot more sold on A.J. Brown in 2025 than I am in Tyreek Hill, and unfortunately Joe Burrow went. Honestly, if I was smart, I should have just taken Joe Burrow, and then I could have probably ended up with Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith there at the 5-4. Don't want to take Baker Mayfield here. I feel like that is not worth it. So I could take George Kittle, get my 10 end spot locked up. I like Jonnu Smith, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce's ranked so low. I mean, he could have a bounce back year. Took Dalton Kincaid in the 5th round last year in some of my drafts. It did not age well. Honestly, I'm going to just snag Devonta Smith here. I got 3 really good receivers, all from the 2021 draft, and Ja'Marr, Waddle, and Devonta Smith. Yeah, Waddle and Smith were teammates together at Alabama. There's a Marion Hampton, 5'8". Like, I feel like he's going to go a lot earlier than that. I feel like maybe this mock here on Sleeper is not valuing running backs as much as they should, at least early on. Where did Ashton Jeanty go? I feel like I didn't mention that. Ashton Jeanty ended up going 3-9. Yeah, he's going to go before Chase Brown. Ashton Jeanty's probably going to be a first-round pick when we get to drafts later in the year. I think I could use another running back. I mean, Najee, you're just waiting for Marion Hampton to take the job from him. Tony Pollard is kind of the clear RB1 there in Tennessee. Brian Robertson in a high-powered offense. Jaylen Warren, I mean, we're going to see how him and Caleb Johnson go up against each other, but he's basically the RB1 to start off the year. It's not a sexy pick, but I think I'm just going to take Tony Pollard here. Cam Ward needs a good running back and a safety blanket, and Pollard could be that guy, even though Tajay Spears is a little bit better in the receiving game. Do I take my quarterback? Do I take Justin Herbert, Jordan Love? Honestly, I don't mind taking one of these quarterbacks later on, so I still think I'm going to hold off on quarterback. Jonnu Smith, Mark Andrews. Yeah, there's a little bit of a drop-off with tight end. Now I kind of wish I took maybe Sam Laporta a little bit earlier, so I think I should still wait on a... Do I take Jared Goff 7? No, I feel you either take a quarterback high or you take one late. You don't kind of reach. I'm going to take Brian Robinson. I'm just going to take another running back here. He's in a good offense with a great running game, and he's going to get a lot of red zone touches as well. So there goes Jared Goff. There goes Khalil Shakir, Jonnu Smith, David Njoku, okay, Mark Andrews. A lot of tight ends on the board. So we can get into that next tier. Like, I don't mind taking a flyer on Travis Kelce in the 8th round, right? Like, how bad can that be? There goes Jordan Love. Evan Ingram in Denver. A little hesitant if I really wanted to invest an 8th round pick into him, but I'm gonna take a chance on Travis Kelce. Maybe a little bit of a bounce back here. Maybe he gets more touchdowns as he's nearing the end of his career. Jalen McMillan ahead of Cooper Kupp. Also not sure if I agree with that. There goes Jake Ferguson. Honestly, I'm gonna take my quarterback. I'm gonna take Justin Herbert here at 9.4. I know in Harbaugh's offense, there's a little skepticism that he could be a top 5, top 10 fantasy quarterback at least going forward, but you add in Matt McConkey. They drafted Trey Harris, and then you also have a good running game, a good O-line. All right, so Dak Prescott, who I think is going to have a bounce back year. He was just runner-up in MVP voting not too long ago. I think you can look at running back depth here for me, at least, like Pollard, Robinson. I mean, we do have Jacobs and Taylor. Do I want to take another one? I could probably use another receiver, to be honest with you. So you have Amari Cooper, who's not even on the team ranked the highest. Keon Coleman. Ted McMillan is still on the board. I mean, that is the exciting pick. That was kind of easy. I feel like he's going to go a lot earlier here. Like, I feel like the receivers that Ted will go over, Jalen McMillan, he'll probably go ahead of Cooper Kupp. He's probably going to go ahead of, I would say, Josh Downs. Maybe not Calvin Ridley, but definitely Ricky Pearsall. I would think. I know Darnell Mooney was good last year. Keenan Allen is even on a team. Sleeper's got to fix maybe some of their algorithms here. I think I would take a flyer on a rookie running back here. And somebody that I think is going to have a really nice workload is Keyshawn Judkins over there in Cleveland. He's basically rivaling Dylan Sampson as the running back 1 for this team going forward. I do like Trayvon Henderson a little bit more, but honestly, Judkins is going to have the workload. We'll just see who the quarterback is going to be for that team, like starting week 1. Is it going to be Flacco? Is it going to be Shador? Oh man, I just don't really want to touch anything from that Browns offense, but for somebody that is going to be my running back 5, I think that's well worth it. I could probably try to snag another quarterback here. Justin Fields. I kind of like over Bryce Young, Sam Darnold. Like, there's no competition for Fields in New York. He's going to get a lot of rushing yards as well. He's got a very good O-line, a lot better O-line than what he had in Pittsburgh last year, even though it was all right. The weapons can be TBD. Like, you have a wide receiver one in Garrett Wilson, better than George Pickens. Mason Taylor, we'll see how he can do as a rookie. They have at least dynamic running backs behind him. And I do think Fields, yeah, is going to get a ton of rushing yards. I mean, I love that value at 12.9, but I'm not getting my hopes up for what these drafts are going to look like later on. This was just kind of getting an offseason feel with some of these rookies. Though I take a flyer on Kyle Pitts with Michael Penix. I don't know. Cole Kmet would be interesting, but obviously they drafted Colston Loveland, so I don't know. Yeah, I really wonder who's going to be drafted higher. I'd assume it'd be like the new shiny toy of Colston Loveland that would be drafted higher than Cole Kmet, even in redrafts. Honestly, I just have, what? So I have 4 receivers on my team right now. Honestly, we could take maybe one of the rookies as well, Luther Burden. I don't know. It's tough. There's Rashad Bateman, Joshua Palmer, there's Kyle Williams, Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, or Mecca Buka. I mean, Burden's got to rival Odunze and DJ Moore. Golden's got to rival a couple guys. Same with Ibuka. I mean, Kyle Williams may have the best target share out of all those guys going forward. I think I'm gonna take Matthew Golden here, going forward, and then I gotta wrap out with a kicker and a defense. Love doing that in some mock drafts, right? So yeah, here's what my league ended up being, or my team. I got Justin Herbert, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Travis Kelce, Devonta Smith, and Tony Pollard. So this league does have 2 flex spots. My league just has 1, and then a couple of rookies off the bench in McMillan and Judkins and Matthew Golden. Probably risky to do that in a redraft league. And then you got Justin Fields and Brian Robinson. I mean, I don't even know if I love this team just on the surface, but we have so much offseason, so many contract negotiations. We just saw George Pickens get traded this late into the offseason, so maybe we're going to see another deal being made. I mean, there's question marks about Justin Herbert being a quarterback 1 for you in fantasy, but I do expect a lot of these rookies to go much higher as we get closer to the draft. Like I said, it's just that new shiny toy that people want to get attached to because they've never been let down by them in fantasy before. So I do think we're going to see a lot of variance leading up to this year's fantasy season. Hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see more fantasy football content on the channel, just let me know down below. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.